Hello, Denise here from Diva Pilates and Wellness. Today is day number 20 of the 30-day health and wellness video challenge. I got 10 more videos to go. You know what? I never even thought I would get this far, so I think I should be dancing pretty good. So, today's topic is fibroids. Actually, it's going to be a three-part series because there is so much information out. And plus, I want to tell you about my own story with the fibroids because it's a very long story. And actually, I was diagnosed with fibroids when I was 25 years old. And at 25 years old, I really didn't have no time to be worrying about fibroids, especially after I had gone to the doctor and they told me, oh, you don't have to worry about them. They're small and we'll just watch them. So just, watch what you eat and, don't worry about it. We'll just keep checking on them every time you come back for your appointment. So now this is 25. I still don't really know what a fibroid is and didn't have the forethought to go and do some research to find out what it is because at 25 I was into hanging out. So that's basically what I did. I lived my life and was hanging out, partying, working, making money and doing all the things most 25-year olds do, have my own apartment. So, I'm doing my thing. But by the time I was in my mid 30s, there were problems starting to arise. And even though I had been back and forth for the checkups, I was always told, you're fine, everything is okay, you don't have anything to worry about, just be careful of your diet, but never really telling me specifically what this diet is supposed to consist of. So by the time I was in my mid 30s, the fibroids had grown, and the next thing I know, I'm in the doctor's office and they're telling me, well, you're going to have to get a hysterectomy. And I immediately flashed back to my mother because I believe she was close to like maybe about 49 or 50 when she had a hysterectomy, and I don't think she was very happy about that, but she had no choice because hers had gotten to a point where they were going to cause her health issues. So I heard that and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what do you mean hysterectomy? But by then, I was older, so I told her no, I didn't want to do that. She gave me other options too, different types of surgeries, but they're all invasive surgeries involving major cuts and removal, and I just was not trying to go down that road at that time. So I went online and I did research and found out about a surgery called uterine artery embolization, and it's where they stick needles, laser surgery, where they stick needles inside you and inside the fibroid, and basically use a force to break the fibroids down to where they become small particles, and then after a while they start to actually I'm wrong, that's not that. What it does is it cuts off the blood supply to the fibroid so that the fibroid shrinks because it's not being fed. And so I had that. That was my first surgery for the fibroids. Now there's a surgery out called the assessor procedure, which that's what I'm getting confused with. Excuse me, because it kind of reminds me of the uterine artery embolization. But in this procedure, they have energy coming through a small needle, breaking down the fibroids. So I guess the fibroids can be sucked out through the little incision that they put, that they do to insert the needle to break down the fibroids. But you need to do your research and really, really research and look for people who actually have gone through the surgery and look for the long-term results, because that's what's going to be your determining factor on what avenue you're going to take for your fibroid removal. Because I didn't go that deep into research. I went as far as to know what the immediate results were, and 6 months to a year, 2 years down the line, and I was satisfied with that because the fibroids were going to shrink over a few months' time, the periods were going to get lighter, and started from the very first one and then get lighter as the days go by. The stomach is going to flatten out. So I'm happy with that. So, but 6 years down the line, guess what? My fibroids returned, and when they returned, they got bigger. So this is why you should definitely do your research. So upon further research, I found out that other patients experienced the same thing I did. After about 5 or 6 years, their fibroids not only returned, but they returned larger than they were before, causing more problems. Now, there's a link between fibroids and the food that we eat. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next video, because this is very, very important. That's going to be part 2, fibroids and the foods we eat, because there's going to be some very surprising things that you're going to hear about the foods that we eat that contribute to fibroid growth, especially today in today's food. This is why so many women, even more so now, are being diagnosed with these fibroids. So this was part 1. Do your research. If you get diagnosed with fibroids, do your research for the surgery and take into consideration everything, and go deep with the research. Go far. Go to find out people what they are experiencing 6 to 10 years down the line, because if it's not going to be worth it to you, you're going to be disappointed. I was made to believe that these fibroids would be gone and they would never come back, but they did. And so definitely do some looking into it. That was just one procedure, the assessor procedure. I'm sure there's others. So do your research and find out what the other procedures are. And if you get a diagnosis of fibroids and the first thing they tell you is a hysterectomy, veto that right away, especially if you're young. You under 30 years old or under 35 years old, or even 35 or over, if you still plan to have children, or even if you don't, there's certain things about those type of procedures that can cause you a lot of problems internally. So you still want to consider it. Do your research and find out all alternatives, every single bit. And some of them could be food alternatives, herbal remedies, and all kinds of other things. So this is part 1. Fibroid diagnosis, do your research, long-term research. Tomorrow, part 2 of fibroids and how foods contribute to fibroid growth. Meanwhile, stay blessed and stay well. Bye-bye.